But how does this actually win, right? And I had to kind of really think this through from the games I got through, and that's not so that's actually applicable for Zcash. One, but to simplify, right? We have constant pressure between I can early game maybe set up some redeploys, set up some stages where I'm fishtailing back to an objective that I can either shoot off or declare a wall off and then push into you. My auto advanced sixes could become interesting to get into your fire lanes to deny your deep strikes. If it's a unit like, well, I know you have a 10-man unit of the Space Wolf Terminators, and they're going to come in one turn early, and I know that you're going to fall in this very obvious field of positioning. Maybe I'll just auto advance six, my 5 Mandos or Storm Boys, and take up that space. So the constant pressure can be either for taking the board or for stopping them from getting in their staging positions to attack you, and then you stage up fully and then declare your wall to hit them. And then also constant pressure means that I do kind of keep stuff a little bit on the back end to declare a wall later in the game from that unit when I build my list. So whether it's another Mega Knob unit, if it's a solo Maz, if it's a weird Squig Hog boy, whatever, if I have something that's able to stay safe and hidden, not just simply fall over or simply be weak at fighting, I can declare a wall on that unit and keep it going for more momentum, because a lot of the time once your wall is over, people are like, all right, I just systematically deconstruct with tier and then I score what I got to do. Well, not if I could just raw another whole another unit into you and also take up all the space I want to take with it with the auto advance six. So it's fantastic, but that's, you got to build that into your list for constant pressure. The combined arms comes into, you put just enough shooting on your list, so you have the flexibility of, I'm going to stand on this and shoot off of it, or I'm going to get in a position and shoot you because you're standing on it. And that's enough for maybe 1 or 2 turns of interesting shooting. Unless you're, like we said, taking advantage of firing deck on a truck, then you might be able to use more shooting because you're using your trucks as a safe position. Flexibility in the looted objective, as I mentioned earlier, is pretty much me just describing the combined arms aspect and the constant pressure, right? Whether it's flexibility because I got to go first and throw these Mandos at you, or flexibility because I got a trike and I'm gonna go, or I gotta actually shoot you, so I'm gonna throw these looters over here. Whatever the flexibility is, I can use my looted objective to either stage off, or I can use it to project my, go get myself. Sorry, project my power and push you off. Sorry, said that wrong. Next is stratagem discipline. This, oh my goodness, this detachment, you're just eating RCP, right? It felt better than Mordaka because Mordaka was spending 2 on the same strat all the time. So I really didn't get to choose other stratagems at times. This one, because it's just one, I did have good amount of time of like, okay, I got like 3 CP in my pocket. I can work this out. That felt good, but it does require CP discipline. So when you're building your units, like when I mentioned, okay, auto advance 6 on Breaker Boys, well, they can re-roll their charge. So I feel better giving it to them knowing they can do that. So have those built in the back of your head, like, okay, this unit is already kind of fast, or this unit can fly, already advance in charge, or can get in good positioning when you want to apply the stratagems to them, right? So you don't always want to use fraggers because you might need those strats later, but you could use it just like once every game. So speed is another thing. I like to pick units that are somewhat relatively fast already, or I have units like transports and such that can kind of project some sort of speed. So speed's very, very important in this because it's compounding your wall effect and your auto advance 6 effect. And of course, the funny, cheeky answer is go first, right? Because how it's written currently, going first is a strong factor, but we can still kind of talk out the looted tempo of the looted objective. This isn't going to be perfect. Hopefully, it helps you a little bit. If it doesn't, sorry, I tried last minute. So let's just say this is how we're playing on our head. If this is true, then I do this. If not, then I do this. It's kind of how this should look in your brain. So let's say that I go first and I'm going to choose the no man's land objective for my looted objective. I'm going to redeploy Mandos, like I said, and try to get a wall. Sometimes I don't even call a wall with them. I just use a CP in advance 6 and stand in the way. I declare no man's land because, hey, I know that the enemy has an objective that they like to stand near or on, and I think I can get my looted objective, my skirmish units to it to shoot at you, whether it's some bikers, or my bikers can run onto it for sustain, shoot at you with their DACA, and then charge into you. Maybe, right? But then you're not doing it from your home, so that's harder to project on bikers. That's more likely on like a Stormboy unit, for example. Sorry for a skirmish. And then when I said DACA, when I say no man's land DACA, it means if for some reason I'm feeling like a crazy git, not recommending this, but if I throw a unit out, it jumps out onto an objective and shoots at you. That's option one. But then here's the most likely option. If you go round one, you use your home objective as your looted objective. So let's say you'll gas up, right? When I mean gas up, it means I'll declare a wall for gas for 1 CP, and I'll stage him up, right? He gets his defense up, he has his banner up, I have a nice bubble of, if you come within range of this, I'm more killy and I'm pretty tough. You could also use it to dock off your home objective, as we mentioned. So maybe you choose your home turn one because you want to shoot off it, or you tail back to wall. So there were times where I would tail back my bikers, my squig hog boys to my home objective, and then I would be able to project. Well, if you run towards the middle, I might declare a wall at this unit, auto advance 6, and then be able to threaten you with a 6-inch charge on anybody standing near. That's fine too, but not always the case. But these are the options you should be thinking in your head when you're deploying and building out your list. Then you go to turn two, round two, excuse me. So you go to round two. Let's say that even if it's you say you're going, you know you're going first. Obviously, you're going to pick the enemy's natural expansion or the middle objective. You're going to declare a wall, or you're going to know it's an objective you can put shoot off and still declare a wall, and then you're not going to fight on. You know that you're not going to fight on their objective because they put a trash unit there. So instead, you chose a middle objective so that you can shoot off it with your tank busters, for example. But let's say that it's round two and you're not in range of a good wall yet. The enemy didn't really played a little bit cagey. They know you're really fast. They know you have an auto 6. They know you have gas, and they know they can kind of play the longer game because the mission. Well, maybe round two should be your natural expansion where you use it as a launch pad instead. Whether it's I have a unit standing here that can declare a wall and go running off it, or I have a unit that's going to move up, stand on this, and shoot at you because you were played kind of safely. So say it's layout one, and I move past my natural expansion. I move on to my natural expansion with maybe a snick rod or something. They didn't really respond. Well, my truck drove past that mid-table line, disembarked the gits, and then I shot down the enemy's backfield with it on layout one for GW. It could be used as a passive launching pad or docker pad instead. But let's say you go into round three, now it's post-Waaagh, right? As I mentioned before, um, if it's post-Waaagh, then you can have the Meganauts with the Big Mech and Mega Armor standing on your natural expansion, and then they'll declare the wall, or Maz, or Squigs, or a Biker, or a Walker. Like there's a bunch of weird little units you could try to get that away with, but it has to be that you have saturated the field with other like toughness units, because if not, then they're like, oh, I'll just shoot that thing over there with my one anti-tank gun. It's like, okay, that was obvious then, right? So there should be other stuff that's a similar stat profile and durability to kind of declare this post-Waaagh wall. And then, of course, if it's round three, and then you should already declare a wall by then. Not always the case, but as we said before, and you rinse and repeat. So it's easier said than done, but this is just for people who haven't played it yet and they may be trying to get a thought for it. Then we go to the pros and cons. So pros, in my opinion, are the stratagems. I think the stratagems are very fun. When I can declare wall, move fast 6, or defraggers is a super unique stratagem in the game. So those actually are what's making me play, not really the detachment ability that much. It's more of the stratagems are making me interested in this detachment. It's a little bit different of a speed and style of play and your choice options, even though it's still a little lackluster in the damage in some cases, right? Then we go to the continuous momentum aspect, the fact that if the enemy wants to come towards my Mandos and kill my Mandos, well, you might have just gone for my trap where I can declare a wall with a different unit, auto advance 6, and get you and punish you, or retake that position for you trying to kill my commandos. And then in response, I could also do a late game wall with the megas, with the squig, everything I already mentioned before. So the continuous momentum aspect is actually fun for me. The fact that the enemy's like, oh shoot, I left that thing alive. He can still continue to wall and run at me. What the right? That's been so fun every time it's come up. The combined arms flexibility to where, okay, I'm going to shoot at you and I have a little bit of buffs, or I'm going to run at you and I want these buffs, has been kind of fun. It's not, okay, I'm just playing Warhorde where nothing gets a buff from shooting, or, oh, I'm playing Bully Boys where nothing gets a buff from shooting. Oh, more the hunt, no buffs from shooting. But it's also, we'll talk about more. But then we go to the speed aspect. I think because of the speed part of the wall, not advanced 6, it means that usually I'm building around somewhat speedier units, which means all in all, my list don't feel that slow. So those have been the pros, the enjoyable parts, the things I like about this list and been incorporating. As for the cons, hyper sepia reliance. So whenever I knew there's a vector round or something, I had to double check and be considerate of that. But also just I had to be disciplined on how I send my SPP, because if I'm off by one, then all my ability to continue momentum has not fallen away. Bad looted objective timing, just objectively speaking, that sucks. That totally sucks. And if GW slightly tweaks it, this could very much be a very cool objective in that case. Another thing is not enough DACA support, in my opinion. Like I said, that looted or the flash kit objective for 4+ anti-vehicle, it needed some kind of additional buff on there, whether it's loot flash kits count as stationary and vehicle 4+. Even then, because we said the save issue is an issue, but it still feels like it's just not enough buffs for DACA support, even though it wants to. It's like, and so moving on to the last thing, it's so heavily balanced about the looted objective that it's hard to actually conduct the combined arms aspect sometimes in the same phase with the same unit. Sorry, in the same phase, in the same turn with the same unit. So it's like, okay, I'm back here, I'm gonna shoot with my tank busters, but then my other stuff's running over there to punch you, and it has a Waaagh activated, but it's not fighting on a looted objective, right? It might be that case. So it's too balanced around the looted objective where I can't do both for the combined arm aspect, so I never really peak in what I'm trying to do. So those are just my straightforward, honest points of view. I have fun with it, but it's so restricted in those ways that it stops it from pushing up to being a highly competitive detachment in most ways. Doesn't mean I think it's bad, doesn't mean you shouldn't play it. Just speaking matter of fact and honestly for your gets, because that's what we do around here, right? So yeah, so with that being said, I think that kind of covers the vast majority of what I have to say about this attachment, the pros, the cons. If you think there's anything that I left out, then we're moving over to the live comments and interactions right now. So feel free to correct me, argue with me, get your teeth knocked out, whatever you got to do. Thank you for rewatch game, because I appreciate you gets. Of course, remember we got the paint competition, Bork and Gorkana. It can be a proxy, it could be a print, but it's due and it should look appropriate and be the appropriate scale. So of course, put that on Facebook or our Discord, because we got to see what's going on there. Shout out to our sponsors, the Baron of Dice, as they helped us do our wall tactic dice. So shout them out. Check them out in the description, 5% off in the discount, because nobody likes taxes. And shout out to Baron of Dice. They allow us to do our paint competition. So thank you very much to them. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!